Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network with your host, Will Huckaby and Mika Villas.
And it's been so long. Jesus, I don't even know where to start. It's been a crazy month, people. Not only in people's personal lives, my personal life, but also in the world of professional wrestling. But it feels good to say this right here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Wrestling Nerdcast. And I know you've missed me, but once again, I'm your host, the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, the World Wrestling Grand Prix Champion, the National Syndicate Heavyweight Champion, the Disrespectful Intellectual, the Southern Gentleman, the Mid-Atlantic Bully, the Morning Star, the Incredible Huck, Will Huckaby. And I hate to say this, but I guess I have to. And it's been so long, and I kind of didn't miss saying this. But I am joined by my co-host. You know her as one half of the world's cutest commentary team. She is the lover of waffles, the voice of the speech impediment, the Aphrodite of affection. She is Miss Chicago Win, Miss Hashtag What That Mouth Do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just check her out at WrestleCade anytime. She is Miss Buy Me a Taco, the one, the only, Mika Villas. Hey, stranger, how have you been?
Oh my God, it started off so nice and then you went back to being you. It's good to really be able to sit and talk with you again. I've definitely been better than most. Just kind of hanging in there and gearing up and back and around for wrestling and craziness and life and yeah. Damn.
It's been a very wild September for me. I live here on the coast of North Carolina, and my area got completely devastated by Hurricane Florence. In the process, Mika, we've talked and stuff. I lost my house, lost the house, lost the car, basically lost everything. Me and my family, we lost everything but what we took with us. But out of the bad comes a lot of good, with a lot of support from the wrestling community, from our friends, from family and stuff. We've been able to kind of get on our feet. I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have it now, go ahead and get you some renter's insurance. Go ahead and get you flood insurance. Go ahead and get hurricane insurance, because it sucks when the government puts a price on your belongings. What I paid for everything in my house is definitely not what I was reimbursed through FEMA, and so we've had to go through other avenues and stuff. But the cool thing is, Mika, out of all that, I will be relocating from the Crystal Coast to what they like to call the Dirty South. I will be moving right outside Atlanta, Georgia, where you reside.
I know. That means I now have to lock everything up and prepare to move myself from the state because I think our protection order doesn't allow us to be within the same state for any extended period of time. So I'll let you have this Atlanta place and not really. Honestly, it'll be cool. I'm glad that you talked about the government putting a price tag on the items that you paid for, but the thing that has no value, that has no real price is your life. So I'm glad that you and your family, were safe, were okay. Items can be replaced, but you and lives certainly cannot. So it is with the greatest of Southern hospitality that I welcome you and yours to this region and say, stay away from my house.
Wow. Stay away from my house. Wow. Some good thing. Like I said, New Bern, North Carolina, my hometown, got a lot of news and stuff this month. President Trump came in and surveyed the damage. The mayor of New Bern, who I've known since I was about 13, 14 years old, Mayor Dana Outlaw, got to attend a Carolina Panthers game and do the traditional drum beating and stuff at the beginning of the game. So they had him on the huge Titantron and stuff, and that was really cool. It's just weird seeing your city on CNN and all these other news outlets. Excuse me, for something such as that. It was really bad. Luckily for us, the hurricane hit at the Category 1 instead of the predicted hurricane Category 4. But we did get we got over 3 feet of rain in less than a week, 15-foot storm surges. And that's really what did it. It wasn't so much the wind. It was the fact that the hurricane came and just kind of sat on top of the east coast of North Carolina for basically a full day. Luckily for me, I was not at home. I was out of that area and stuff. We lost power for a little bit. maybe a couple, like less than 24 hours and stuff. The power was right back on. My actual house didn't get power for 5 days, which is ridiculous. It took about 2 weeks for the entire county to get power back. And there's a lot of rebuilding that this area has to do. I would say everything from Raleigh to the coast. There's a lot of rebuilding. So for all our listeners and fans and stuff, don't think that just because the storm is over with that people's lives go back to normal. There are a lot of people who lost a lot here. And if you can, help out, people still need clothes. They still need cleaning supplies, money. And it sounds funny, but people really do need money, because there's a lot of things that you have to buy. You have to go back and buy clothes, food, cleaning supplies. A lot of people have to replace, their homeowners, and it takes FEMA a good week or two and stuff to bring you that money. People lost businesses. They have to wait for the small business associate or administration and stuff to send them a check. So whatever you can donate, please donate. Red Cross, contact me if you need some local charities and people who are actually doing things and stuff. I know we're supposed to be talking about wrestling. I just want to get this all out and stuff so people who listen to this know what's going on in this area. The inner city of New Bern, North Carolina, and Havelock, and just the inner city of New Bern and Havelock and Carteret County and stuff. The government has really dropped the ball, especially with the projects in New Bern, North Carolina and stuff. These people have lost everything. They live in income-based housing, and the government's nobody's really coming in there to help them in the inner city. So it's really cool to see my neighborhood rally around each other and help each other out, help out their neighbors and friends, and in some cases enemies. So tearjerker moment right there. Tearjerker. I know y'all don't have that type of stuff.
Okay. It's no, I mean, but I lived in Florida for a good number of years, where, you said you lost everything and to have the insurance and what have you. That's a song that Floridians have been singing since, who knows, the beginning of time, but that's really important. When I was in Florida, thankfully I had native Floridians who, when hurricanes came or before it happened, they were telling me things like, look, just don't take this lightly. You have the insurance and everything in place, and you fear for the rain, for the water, because literally Florida is built as an island, and certain places are prone to flooding, and of course being right there on the ocean as well, storm surge. So it is. There was a loss of life with Hurricane Florence in the Carolina areas, and the fact that this storm just sat there, it was heartbreaking, because I'm familiar with how bad it could be, even at a Category 1, where people are like, oh, it's fine, it's okay. Well, no, there's so much more that happened. So, yes, while this is a wrestling podcast, we are also, as a wrestling personality yourself, as someone in the outskirts of the business, it's a people thing as well. So not just from wrestlers, because there are lots of wrestlers from Carolina, but there are also fans and families, friends, and like you said, enemies, people who were affected and who still need help. So again, I know redcross.org, I believe, / Hurricane Florence, but there's just a number of different charities out there. So if anyone has just anything to donate, that would be great, because people do need it.
I didn't even realize until the storm that how much, you see jokes and stuff on TV and stuff, like in case of emergencies and stuff, make sure you have plenty of toilet paper. That's a thing.
It is a real thing.
It's a thing for real people. Believe you me, in case of storm, the hell with bread and milk and stuff, get you a couple of cases of toilet paper, because it comes in handy. Best believe that. Especially when you have people coming staying at your house and stuff to get away from the storm. But speaking of storms, wrestling. Oh my goodness, so many great things have happened in the month of September. I can't talk about everything. Let's just hit on some highlights. Let's see what Jeff Cobb won the BOLA, Best of Los Angeles and stuff for PWG. Did not see that.
Angeles, yes.
Did not see that coming. But he's a phenomenal talent. He's only been in PWG for what, 2-3 years maybe?
Something to that effect. Jeff Cobb, for BOLA purposes, is definitely new, but he is an athlete like no other. For people who don't know who Jeff Cobb is, as his namesake, as his self, the Lucha Underground, he is. Go ahead and tell him who he is in Lucha Underground.
Who is it? I don't know. Was it Jeff Cobb?
No.
Oh, he's Mil what is it? Muertes? Who is
No, he is Cuerto, the God, I can't say the name, man. He's the big Cuerto, the animal, the masked crazy
Deaf guy.
yes, him. But he's a badass pretty much no matter what. So that right there, his background in wrestling, like I said, maybe short and bola, but he definitely put on a show out there and a deserving winner in my book.
What's it, like 4 opponents and was it 4 matches in 3 days or whatever?
Yeah, I mean,
It's great.
they tear through it out there.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Something that really stuck in. Well, let's see. WWE news. What? The Scottish lass. What's her name? Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch,
the Scottish lass kicker.
Yeah, she's what, the women's champion?
She is the SmackDown women's champion.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch has finally risen to where a lot of people feel that she should have been at the forefront of SmackDown, and is currently
I don't like the fact they have her as a heel.
Why not?
Because the fans love her. And to me, the whole Charlotte Flair as a babyface is very forced. You know, people naturally want to hate her. The people who naturally don't like her, I naturally don't like her. And I know her, you know what I'm saying? I've met her in person and stuff. On the other hand, people love Becky. Like, no matter what she does, she's one of those heels that people are going to cheer, which makes for a bad storyline. It's kind of like Roman Reigns, Johnson, or something like that. It's like when you know, some people are just destined and should be heels, especially in certain storylines. In this storyline, Becky should be the babyface.
I get that it's in a way stupid because of the reaction that she's getting from the crowd, that they have her running as a heel. But also, how many dominant female heels have you seen since this rebirth of women's wrestling in the WWE?
They don't have any dominant females besides, I guess, if you want to be a shoot and say, you know, Ronda Rousey. The last dominant female they had, in my opinion, like full-on dominant, who could have been a champion for years, was Karma. You know what I'm saying?
She didn't even have a good, like, she won like 2 matches in the WWE, so that doesn't count. I mean,
but like I said, I just don't think that the fans really want to see her as a heel. They're not going to. Of course, you have these smart fans out here who, no matter what Daddy Vince does, they're not going to boo her whatsoever. It's just bad.
Which is fine. Which, again, it doesn't matter. It also gives her something to play against as the fans are cheering her. She can kind of talk smack to them, but again, they're gonna welcome and love her because they are so anti-Charlotte. Maybe eventually down the line, Charlotte will run as a heel, but right now, in the midst of this coming up on this Evolution pay-per-view, you have a name out there as Flair. You can't go into it with her being evil. I think you do it. You bring as many people with her name and then go from there.
I'm about to say her father made millions as a heel. I don't.
Different era. This is the era of kissing hands, shaking babies, and being nice and smiley and loving and welcoming and all this other stuff. You know.
Well, speaking of
her
people
dad was up and down the roads.
Go ahead.
Her dad was up and down the roads. Yeah, he was being a heel, but it wasn't where sponsorship dollars were at stake. You know, Right now, this is sponsorship dollars at stake. You need to have everybody be, even the bad people have to be good. So Becky fits the corporate mold of a heel right now.
No. I'm going to tell you who fits the mold of a heel. Because, damn it, Elias and Kevin Owens in Seattle, Washington. Jesus Christ. Like, I don't usually watch Raw unless, like, Cedric is on or somebody I really enjoy is on. But Jesus, I was like, my phone blew up talking about Elias and Kevin Owens and this promo and stuff that they did. And so I went back on YouTube, and because of course I don't have the WWE Network. So I went back on YouTube and watched the entire thing, and I was like, oh my God. Like that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get heat. And I think the best part about that was after Elias said, that makes about as much sense as Seattle having a basketball team. Like what? Now Oklahoma, on the other hand, like that I can understand. like after he said that and got that reaction from the crowd, the look on his face was so perfect. Like I died. Like I literally, you know when people say they laughed out loud? Like I literally belly laughed out loud looking at his facial reaction to the crowd. Like he's just looking at them like, you people act like I'm lying or something. Like, what was your thoughts? Because I know you've seen it because you're an avid WWE fan. What was your thoughts about that promo?
So I was watching Raw that night with someone who is not a sports fan. So that reference kind of went over her head. She was like, what is the problem? What are these people's problems? Why are they like losing their minds? So I, of course, am a sports fan, and I know all about the Seattle Supersonics, Sean Kemp, and that whole deal. So
Yeah.
it was, I too, my mouth dropped. It was like, whoa, you know, here we are. Sometimes you call things cheap heat, you know, like, oh, this is the worst town I've ever been in, you know, Seattle. That's easy. That's cheap. It was so slick and sly and creative to the point where, again, everything worked. His facial expressions, the fact that they paused. They let the crowd go in for the longest time and just let them.
They tried to talk. They tried to talk over the crowd, and that crowd literally booed for like 10 straight minutes until Leo Rush came out. Like that crowd was not happy.
They felt that. I mean, Kevin Owens has been in front of hostile crowds in the independent scene for, you know, his entire career. So that's one of those things in the indies, you know, you let eat up as well. And of course, Elias is mic'd up at that time. He's got an earpiece as well. I'm sure Vince was in his ear going, let it ride. Do not speak.
Oh,
just,
definitely.
You know, whatever. Let it ride. So as I explained out the significance of how he was saying all these things and everything just kept escalating and building. I was already an Elias fan, not because of his ring work, but because of how this persona where I did not care about him as this drifter when he came into the main roster, as this dude with this guitar. I'm like, what is this lunacy? Now I am totally, completely walking with Elias. Adding Kevin Owens to the mix, Owens makes everything better. He's like dessert at the end of a good meal. It just makes everything that much better, no matter who you put him in. It's great.
I think that Kevin Owens is probably one of the best mic guys, not only in WWE but in professional wrestling. Period. Like when it comes to getting on the mic, there are very few guys that's in that level of like, hey, give this guy a mic and just and you don't need to write out his promos for him. Just say, hey, this is the premise. These are the bullet points. Go work your magic. And I think that Kevin Owens is great. I love the fact that they put Kevin Owens with Elias. They're both around the same age. They both come from the same era of wrestling fans and wrestlers and stuff. It's a perfect match when it comes to promos, man, because the fans, you know, all the fans are like, oh, we all want to walk with Elias, and then he says something like that, and you're like, ooh, like that promo was one of those like, ooh, shit moments, like that really stung, like damn, that stung. I loved it. Oh my god, like I feel like they almost should have that should have been the last segment of the show, because I'm assuming, Mika, from there, even with The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, which we're about to talk about, I think that segment maybe might have outshone everything else in the show.
That segment was great, but again, they weren't expecting the reaction that they got, so it's kind of hard to predict. I mean, they expected a little boos or whatever. They didn't expect that chorus of boos. I think the way the show ended was the best thing you could do going into a pay-per-view.
So you don't think that they knew that the Seattle... I didn't even know that Seattle, the residents of Seattle, were that sensitive about the subject of the Supersonics. Like, I had no idea. Like, I knew, you know, sports fans are kind of pissed. Like, you know, Cleveland fans are pissed about LeBron, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It was like they were heated. Like, that was probably the most hostile crowd WWE has seen since the territory days, or at least since CM Punk and John Cena in Chicago.
Yeah, that nobody knew if they were. Seattle is not one of those they seemingly take their sports to heart, like a New York, like a Chicago, like a Cleveland when LeBron left and went to Miami and all that. That just, it was not one of those places that seemed like it was going, I mean, hell, the reason the team moved, they weren't getting people to show up. So, you know, it's not like it was a big, huge sports city or what have you. So that was unexpected, but, you know, any publicity is good publicity. WWE again hitting SportsCenter or ESPN.com and just different outside venues and sports and news outlets picking that up. So that was great. And again, they didn't expect it, but they sure as hell were happy with it.
I believe that. Now, speaking of things being happy about, not a lot of people, myself included, happy to see the beloved HBK without his golden locks, I guess you could say. Although it's to be expected, because around the end of his full-time run, he was starting to get kind of thin on top. He was starting to get the Hogan skullet, but he showed up on Raw with no hair.
See, you have to go back a little bit here. So Shawn came out on Raw. He was advertised that he was coming out on Raw to talk about the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view WWE has coming up down under in Australia. He comes out with his little cowboy hat on, and you can kind of see this thing under his hat. I'm looking at it going, what is that, a bandana, a scarf? What's going on under there? And eventually a choke slam or something. Later, that hat, no, first time he got hit, the hat stayed on his head, which I thought was amazing. I was like, whoa, his damn hat is still on his head. When Hunter, you know, ran out there and then they beat him up again and the hat came off and it was like, boom, it's the cue ball kid. What the hell?
The cue ball kid. I'm going to tweet him that. I'm going to tweet Shawn Michaels instead of the Heartbreak Kid, he's the cue ball kid.
He's the kid.
So what? So, you know, it's what this is, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker again?
So no, it's Triple H versus The Undertaker. They're saying this will be the last one-on-one encounter of their careers. I say that to say this. The wording, folks, the last one-on-one encounter. That means they're going to tag up Kane and the Taker against Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. That's my thought. They're going to move the next big major pay-per-view probably in India. They'll do that, and that'll be the last of these gentlemen's 4 careers. So they'll put a fork in it, so to speak. At least for 3 out of those 4.
I'm about to say, like, I know Kane, you know, as the mayor of Knox County, kind of has to slow down. We are, of course, the Undertaker's on a limited schedule, and I understand why they brought these guys out. Why they bring out, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful when I say this, but I understand why they bring out the old gunslingers, especially you have this major pay-per-view in a brand new market. The fans of Australia, you know, of course they may be wrestling fans, but they want to see the stars of their youth. They want to see Triple H. They want to see Shawn Michaels. They want to see The Undertaker. They want to see Kane. And that's nothing against the current roster. It's just these are, you know, longtime fan favorites that these people really haven't got to see on a consistent basis like we have here in the States. So I understand why they did it. And like you said, the wording of that, you know, speaks volumes that this is not going to be the last match you see them in. It'll just be the last singles. Speaking of wording, you see how we just segue into all this stuff? All In. Jesus Christ. We didn't get a chance to talk about it really. Because it happened in the beginning of September and stuff. But All In came out, huge success, millions of people, everybody made money. This week's the last episode of Being the Elite, the Young Bucks, their YouTube show, their highly successful YouTube show, I might say. There was a phrase, like you said, Mika, the wording. Is it a premonition? Is it a tip or a clue that there's going to be an All In 2, aka Double or Nothing? What do you think? Did you watch it, Mika? Are you a fan of Being the Elite, first of all?
I am a fan of Being the Elite. I love whenever there are wrestling shenanigans, meaning you get kind of sit and see everybody together to do not promos, but skits to kind of just entertain fans. It gives us a kind of a look at the characters, how everybody interacts with each other. It's just almost a kind of behind the scenes type of look, even though they're not necessarily moving storylines forward. But in this case, they used that YouTube show for All In. They made, you know, being the elite part of the storyline. So if you weren't familiar, you were like, huh, what are all these penises? But okay, cool. or okay, I hate wrestling, depending on, what kind of temperament you had. But yeah, I am a huge fan, and why the hell not do it again? At the conclusion of All In, even though, it was running off the televisions or your pay-per-view screens or whatever at 11 o'clock on the dot because they went a little bit over, I said they're going to do it again. The reason they're going to do it again, they sold out a venue in Chicago in what? People saying 30 seconds, 1 minute, it doesn't matter. They sold it out, right. They sold it out, and WWE could not sell out that city for a Raw, for their flagship show in the same amount of time. It took forever to sell out the tickets. The fact that everybody in the world on every social media platform was talking about this, not just wrestling fans. You had non-fans talking about it because they're like, what is going on? Because news outlets picked it up. You had every independent wrestler trying to get in some way, shape, or form onto this show. I have a lot of people who I know before the start of the show, before the conclusion of the show, before the show was booked out, so to speak, were saying, dudes, I gotta get on this show. So a lot of people, of course, were not all in. They were kind of left out because there's only so many slots, and spaces. But damn, the success of this, why not do it again? They made a buttload of money and they got a buttload of tongues talking.
Well, like I said, the way Cody said it on Being the Elite was like, hey, I'm going to go gamble. I'm going double or nothing. It was like, ooh, as soon as he said it, I was like, ooh, there's going to be an all in too, double or nothing. Like, sweet. Like, all right. Like, I love it. And then, they were just kind of, setting the stage and stuff like, hey, their contracts are coming up. Are they going to re-sign with ROH and New Japan? Which I'm pretty sure they're going to re-sign with New Japan because that's a comfy fucking spot to have. I'm not even going to lie. Like, that's such a comfy spot to be in over there on New Japan. But I'm thinking that they might not sign back with ROH just because it limits them a lot, especially here in the States. But whatever. They make more money than I do. They're in that space. They have that prerogative, I guess you would call it. Speaking of spaces, speaking of prerogatives, something else we want to talk about, because this past Sunday, AWE started season 5. Oh, Jesus. All the things. It's so crazy that Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment's been around for 5 years. I've been there for 3, I guess. It's been about 3 years. Sunday show, you were in the building doing commentating. I think myself personally, I had the match of the night. I damn sure had the fight of the night. I took the ass whooping of a lifetime. But AWE, Walk It Like We Talk It, at the Opera Nightclub, downtown Atlanta and stuff. You was there on the stage doing commentary in the commentary booth, talking about all the action and stuff. What was your thoughts about it? Especially not you're in the office and stuff. Not you're in the office.
I'm not the entire office. Hold on. Anybody listening to this? I'm not the entire office.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen,
there's a team in the office.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want to get booked at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, you got to talk to Mika Villas now. She's the office.
And sadly, guys, he ain't lying. No, let me stop. I'm gonna move away from that because there is so much talent out there in independent wrestling, and we are indeed looking for more. But let's talk about this show. The opener for season 5, Walk It Like We Talk It. It was absolutely, positively just a crazy madhouse of entertainment, of wrestling, of weirdness, of, oh my God, how in the hell, what the hell just happened?
It was
my mouth. I'm supposed to talk. I really am supposed to get on the microphone and, do my analysis, just kind of tell the story. And I think I spent more time drawing flies, just shocked at what I was seeing before me than I've ever had in my entire life. Your match was one of the matches of the night. I will admit, usually I'm pretty hard on you or what have you. Why it will not be the match of the night in my book, and I'll go and tell you why. It was one of those matches where I was just like, oh my God, what the hell? How the hell? What the hell? You took what had to be the biggest frog splash ever created by man, God, the devil, everybody combined, and you won. I don't know how you did it.
Calvin Tateman, who's a former IWA Mid-South world heavyweight champion. He's a phenomenal talent. He's definitely in the top 20 best super heavyweights in the, if not the world, definitely in the country. I can list on probably just two hands, maybe the super heavyweights who can actually go, and Calvin Tankman is definitely one of them. Mika?
Yeah, I totally agree. Again, you guys put on a hell of a, as the old timers would say, a hell of a hoss fight.
It was a slugger.
It was a holy crap. I'm so glad I'm not either one of their chest, because the chops, the hits, the strike, y'all, it was horrible. Like, my chest hurts talking about it. I'm like literally rolling my shoulders in because the pain is reverberating. From today is what, Wednesday. That was Sunday. I'm still feeling pain. I don't know how you're not, because it was bad. Really bad.
I'm gonna tell you what. Here's the funniest part of that. Here's the funniest part of that whole match, Mika. I hate to cut you off because I gotta say it while I'm thinking about it. So in the match, ladies and gentlemen, I commenced because the fans have been asking me to do a 450, and I'm finally able physically, because I've lost enough weight, been working out, eating right and stuff, that I'm able to do a 450. And so I finally was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do the 450. And so I go to the top rope, and I actually get all the way to the top rope to do the 450. Obviously, I get cut off or whatever. And then he hits me with a superplex. I land, I bounce, I sit up, and for some strange reason, I'm sitting up looking dead at you, Mika, and your face after the superplex. Look, it's hard to describe your face, so I'm going to ask you what you were thinking. But literally, when I landed, I sat up. Like, I bounced and I kind of sat up and looked, and you were directly in front of me in the commentary booth, and I just kind of rolled over, and I was like, look at Mika.
Because, Will, as much as I say that I hate you and we fight like siblings, the fact that you were up there was... It was bad. It was wrong. I was like, what is he doing? Get down. Do not listen to these people. Why are you doing this? Get down. Holy shit, you got help down the wrong way via superplex. And I'm like, I thought she'd die. I mean, I think on commentary I said, we didn't reinforce this ring. They're going to die. and when you guys came down and you bounced, your body is not supposed to bounce. And I was like, his whole spine just went, like, crumbled. And I'm like, he's dead. I don't even know how to call. How am I supposed to call somebody's death? And then he got up after that. I went, oh, he's alive. Okay, let's go. So,
how you call somebody's death? But it was a lot of great matches. I say, world's biggest frog splash. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. What happened was his momentum carried us both over, basically. Like, I just held on for dear life, man. I had nothing left. But there was so many good matches. There was one pretty... I'm going to go ahead and say the pre-show match was not what I hoped it would be. But every other match was really good.
We have to touch on what a guy's... I'm sorry.
Chris Crunk versus Teddy King was better than I thought it was going to be. The scramble match was out of this world. The women's match, Jesus Christ. Kylie Ray, Zeta Zane, Harlow O'Hara, and who's the fourth one?
Blake.
Aria Blake, the princess of the hierarchy.
The first lady of the hierarchy. Please, sir,
the first lady. I'm so glad that our match was before theirs, because those ladies went all out. And I will say that as vicious as the chops that me and Calvin were throwing at each other, Harlow O'Hara's back fist reminded me of that scene in What's Love Got to Do with It, where Ike Turner backhanded Tina over the couch. It was like sushi. It was like backhand. It was like, holy shit. We was in the crow's nest watching. It was like, oh shit. Like, hey, Ray Rice said hi. Like, you know what I'm saying? Did she get lessons from fucking Chris Brown? Like, Jesus Christ, those ladies were beating the piss out of each other.
Listen, that right there, because of the hard hits. Your match was a hard-hitting match. I thought it would be the hardest-hitting match of the night. Those ladies killed it and each other. I had people come up to me afterwards and go, girls match, ladies match, women's. I don't want to call them girls. I don't want to be disrespectful. Match of the night. They stole the show, as the women of Raw always do. These are, Aria excluded, relatively new faces to our division. And each one of them, they brought their A++ game. Harlow is otherworldly. There is something about her. She is unique, and she is a powerhouse. You've got Kylie Ray, who, don't let the smile fool you. she is phenomenal. Don't just the pretty,
From
smiley, happy
train,
face.
well, I say trained by Booker T, coming from former reality of wrestling women's champion. I've known that she was amazing years ago, from going
Real
down to
deal.
reality of wrestling and watching her and stuff, and didn't really know a lot about Zeta Zane besides what she has done in the Mae Young Classic. But I think she had an unfair advantage because of who she was working out with earlier before the show. I'm not going to say who,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she had unfair advantage.
Listen, the unfair advantage meant nothing because raw rules mean there are no rules, and Arya Blake picked up the win. But again, each of those ladies, Kylie might be my favorite because she's from Chicago. But I'm also a supporter of the Church of Harlow and the Two Finger Salute. And I like to get down with the Z. So everybody, I'm just so happy of what they did. The show in general was phenomenal. We have another show coming up, and it's going to be.
Hold
We
on.
have to touch on.
We have to talk about the split of the Carnies. We have to talk about the Carnies.
You
Jesus.
also have to talk about the Undead Bloody Bride.
Oh, Su Young made an appearance and beat the hell out of a friend of mine.
No. She didn't beat the hell out of him. That was a sacrifice. That was a blood sacrifice.
That was just bad.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I felt so bad for him.
I was not joking when I said I didn't know what to say when you took that superplex and I thought you were dead and my face showed it. Su Young literally killed a young man in the middle of a ring to the cheers of fans.
I felt so bad for him. I was like, no, not Sue. Like, oh man. But I want to talk about the Carnies because I have a long-standing rivalry with the Carnies, and so people were shocked. Nick Icky hit Carrie Awful with a ace crusher and stuff, and I personally laughed and I thought, that's what the hell he gets. But people were shocked. And I was walking around the crowd during that match and stuff, just kind of sneaking around my hoodie on. And when that moment happened, people stopped and was like, did we just witness the breakup of the Carnies? Like, what the hell just happened?
I had people reaching out to me genuinely upset that what they saw is what they saw, that the Carnies, who are a favorite tag team of people throughout the entire United States and especially the Southeast wrestling scene. Miscommunication versus the hierarchy. They lost the match, and it seems like there's something I can't say for sure, but I think actions definitely speak louder than words between Carrie and Nick, where they kind of got into each other's faces, and they say brothers fight. And these two definitely, Nick laid Carrie out and walked away. I am a fan of the Carnies. I really, really am. And I did not get a chance to speak to either one of them afterwards. As a member of the office, they're not speaking right now, so I'm going to respect their space and distance, and hopefully they're working it out between themselves. But I literally looked into the crowd as well, and there were shock faces. There were tears in some cases.
I'm about to tell you, a couple people were crying about it.
Yeah, I know. Again, the Carnies are beloved. People love them. People travel to see them. People dress as them. People buy the hell out of that Carnies merch. I mean, hell, I got Carnies merch behind me now. So what we saw was definitely heartbreaking. And hopefully just a one-off, and the guys get it together, because I don't know, how do you the circus stopped itself? I hope that didn't happen,
And then the main event, Joe Black versus Simon Gotch. I had a chance to talk. I actually had a chance to talk to Simon before the match. And he was, just trying to fill out the crowd and stuff. And I had to tell him, I've told a lot of guests, I would like to call them, at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, that inside those four walls of the Opera nightclub, the Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment fanatics do not care what you've done outside these four walls. They don't care about your accolades. They don't care where you've been and who you've wrestled and who you've beaten. All that matters is what you've done at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. And so I told him, this is not the crowd to call it in. You cannot phone it in tonight. Because if you do, A, they're not going to stop at your merch stand, and B, they will boo you out the building. And he did not. That was a terrific match. I thought it was a great way to end the season 5 premiere. As much as I don't like Joe Black, I will say that he is a fighting champion. He's fought all kinds of different guys and stuff, man. He's taken on all challengers. So it was a good match, very controversial ending. But I'm glad that Joe Black kept the title because that means that as I continue to win matches, I will move up the ladder. Yay!
That is the distinct possibility. Matches, wins and losses do mean something in Atlanta, and people laugh at that, but it's true. As we have a unique fan base, we also have unique content. We have a champion that wants to fight. We've had in the past champions who did everything that they could to avoid matches. Joe has compiled a list of challengers he wants to face. Simon Gotch was the first one to get one of these open contracts that we've placed out there and opened up kind of the negotiations with different talents around the world. And it was a definite test for Joe Black. Simon Gotch is traveled. He's world traveled. He's a former WWE superstar, and he did not phone it in. He did not bring any weak ass NXT shit, pardon my French, into our house. He challenged Joe Black, and quite frankly, that match could have went either way. And the fact that Gotch had his foot on the ropes at the referee counted to 3. It should have stopped and the match should have continued. I'm going to make sure that in my capacity and whatever it is in the office, that somewhere down the line, as Joe Black stated, he would love to go again with Simon Gotch. I would absolutely positively love to see that happen as well. And we're going to do everything we can to make that happen because that was one hell of a match. That is the way you start off a season. And this season, if everybody listening, I know you guys, you missed it. You need to be there because it's going to get even wilder from
I'll say that.
here.
So they got. So what's the Be the Man tournament is going on this season, which is kind of a G1 style tournament. Then they have specific fanatics only. They have a season pass this year. Where they're doing season pass only shows. October 11th is a season pass holder only show, I guess.
That is correct.
There's been a lot of crazy things in Atlanta in wrestling entertainment, and once again, as a independent professional wrestler, I will say this, and I don't care what kind. I'll take all the smoke, as the young kids say. It's great to see a wrestling company who is innovating unique concepts in wrestling and not really biting off, because I've realized and I've seen, and we've been to shows that were very AWE-esque, where they've taken, what they've kind of taken what Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment is and kind of bastardized it, and come off as a pretty cheap ass knockoff, I guess you could say.
We create content, and our content is so that people like to treat us like a library. They come, they check it out, and then they try to write their own story. But we are very, very original and imitators. They may do a good job, but they will never be us. And to be there live is to see exactly what the original content is supposed to look like and be blown away and understand that nothing is like being at an AWE show anywhere in the world that you go.
Now, I will say this. Breaking the fourth wall this past month, me, my buddy DeGette Bundles, and Joe Black all traveled to the not so great state of Texas, as I like to call it, at Total Championship Wrestling, where I defended my AIWF World Heavyweight title, and we had to show them what the South is all about. We had to beat up some people and stuff. Remind me to send you the clip, Mika, of a hellacious spear that Joe may have gave female wrestler Ruthless Lala after my match.
I saw it. Have. Joe Black, basically, he was a magician. He tried to saw a woman in half by spearing her. That's exactly what happened. That was, again, we've spoken to Joe on this show. You guys have a history. I've spoken to him, in my role as office now. I am still definitely afraid of Joe Black, and that sure as hell did not help.
Yeah, so we're spreading the word of AWE to the masses now in Southern Strong Style Wrestling. We're spreading the gospel that is Southern Strong Style Wrestling. But like you said, October 11th, October 21st, open tryouts at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment returns to the Opera Nightclub. Is it November 11th?
That is correct. On Veterans Day, 9/11. Yeah, this is Veterans Day. 2019.
As a veteran and stuff, I think I have something special for that night. Anyway, what else has gone on in professional wrestling that we have not talked about? Oh, I know because even though you don't watch it, New Japan Pro Wrestling. What?
I hate you.
What? You don't watch New Japan, which hurts my
I
feelings.
do watch New Japan. I watch like 850 hours of wrestling, okay? I don't watch it automatically at the crack of dawn like you do, but I do get back and I watch the shows. Thank you.
Well, former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Takahashi is out. Will be out for a while. So the leader of LIJ, Tetsuya Naito, has announced that they will be, I guess the October 10th show. They will be unveiling a new member of LIJ, and the speculations have run wild. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I just want to know. I have my own ideas of who's doing what, but I want your thoughts. Who do you think could be the newest member of LIJ that's out there in the wrestling world right now?
I don't know. There's so many people. Well, we just saw the return of Pac out there in the independent wrestling world. That was one
He
Neville.
looks amazing.
He never looked bad, but yeah, he's back to that, I guess, that indie glory or shape or what have you. So perhaps he is now going to go over in Japan and join LIJ. That would be
signed to Dragon
a
Gate.
steal.
He's already signed to Dragon Gate. They're
I mean, listen, that level of talent, I'm sure he can negotiate a deal where he can go anywhere in the world that he wants. That's my thought process. So maybe it's him. I know with his talent, I would tell him, listen, yes, I'm signing with you, but I'm also going to sign with them, and them. I'm going to sign with everybody and take all the dollars. It will make sense. Just be happy.
I'm gonna go with Penta. Because out of all the factions in New Japan, I think that LIJ is the only one that actually has Lucha Libre stars and stuff, and they have that Lucha Libre vibe. Because they are a sister faction of I'm not even gonna say it, but the LIJ in Mexico and stuff, they have that Lucha Libre feel. They have Bushi, Takahashi, who really made his bones on the excursion in Mexico and stuff. I would love to see Penta in New Japan, especially with the match that he just had versus Kenny Omega at All In. It would be amazing if Penta was the newest member of LIJ.
That would be a damn good get as well. So yeah, again, we could speculate. There's so many great names out there, so many people who would fit perfectly into that stable, but we gotta wait.
Yeah, we gotta wait about another week and a half. All right, so anything else, Mika, wrestling wise, that's happened since we've last talked to our fans and listeners that you want to talk about?
I just know that there's this. It almost sounds like I'm about to plug it, but the Chris Jericho cruise is coming up.
Yes.
And that is going to be interesting as hell because you have New Japan, ROH, and Lucha Underground stars. Everybody's going to be on this damn boat. It's like the love boat of professional wrestling. I'm looking forward to hearing reports from this boat, this pleasure cruise of wrestling. I unfortunately was not able to secure a cabin because, that thing cost a lot of money. And I was like, yo, Jericho, hook it up? No? Okay, fine. So.
You're not going? I figured out everybody you would be going.
I really did try. No joke. But that's okay. We got Russell K coming up.
Yes, Russell K. I may be in the building. I'm not sure yet. Originally, I was supposed to be at Russell K, and now it's like, with things being the way they are, my money's kind of tight now. People need to go buy more merch from Will Huckaby. You know what I'm saying? Go buy some merch, people. But yeah, so anything else, Mika?
No, I think we covered. We hit the month of September hard. We kind of ran through it there. I don't think we have anything else left to touch upon.
Yay! All right. Well, Mika, where will you be at this week?
This weekend, Friday, there is a new promotion in the Atlanta area. It is called Southern Honors Wrestling.
Yeah, Southern Honor Wrestling.
I will be checking them out at their debut show. They have former WWE, ECW, Love of My Life, Raven will be there. So I'm going to go and quote the Raven and see if he will flock me. I mean, if I can join the flock. And
Aphrodite of affection.
Oh my God. So that is this Friday. Saturday, I think I'm going to take Saturday and Sunday off. Who knows? There's some other shows happening in this area I may
What?
pop into.
What?
I'm
You would not be.
what?
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Gosh, I'm sorry. I was almost, yeah. I will be Sunday in Norcross, Georgia, as you will be for MLA Mucha Lucha Atlanta. Will be there in the building because there will be tacos. You are going to be running around doing some protection. Let's hope that there's not a riot like last time. I need to find a hard hat and a helmet just in case.
I need to find a ballistic vest and a hard hat. I've had to talk to some of my buddies and stuff before I leave town. But yeah, so this is a short week for me. Friday, I will be in Greensboro, North Carolina for Firestar Pro Wrestling. Saturday, I will be, it's actually a 2-for-1 show. I want to say right outside Charlotte, North Carolina actually in Hickory, North Carolina for NAWA, where, and we can check this out, it will be myself, the Incredible Hulk, versus the Monster, Montana Black, in our first ever actual singles match.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so 1 week I'm facing Calvin Tankman, and next week I'm facing Montana Black. I'm just a glutton for punishment, I guess.
You are really trying to die, okay.
Yes, and if I don't die Saturday, then Sunday I probably will. Norcross, Georgia, Mucha Lucha Atlanta, doing security for the owner, Ricardo. Hopefully they've learned their lesson and they will decide not to sell cervezas in glass bottles, hopefully. Because damn it, if so, I'm going to buy one of those military combat helmets and a ballistic snap-proof vest. And I'll be in the building. Yeah.
Get all that stuff now. Could you just get an extra one?
I'm gonna get like one of those Stan Hansen bull ropes and swing that around so people don't fucking hit me. I don't know. I'm gonna get a shield. I'm gonna get a Captain America shield.
A riot shield from the SWAT team you are going to need.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, anything else, Mika?
That's it. Now I'm looking forward to tacos and wrestling.
I figured you would love tacos and wrestling. Jesus Christ. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this has been, I guess, a reboot of the Wrestling Nerdcast. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Indie Customs. Be sure to check them out on Facebook and Twitter at Indie Customs. To all of our friends at Pro Wrestling World for all of your pro wrestling gossip and who's doing what, when, where, why, and who, and how. Huge shout out to our friends at Behavior Driven that I think Mika may be utilizing their services this week because I think that her laptop has finally put to bed. Thank you to our network, the Angry Marks Podcast Network, not only for their support, but also for letting us have this awesome podcast on their show every week. Be sure to check out Mika on FOW every week with her and her co-hosts Danny and Patrick. Be sure to check me out on the Thursday Night AMP on this here network right here. Be sure to check out our Patreon account if you love what you're hearing and you like to see or hear more of me and Mika talk professional wrestling, talk with some amazing guests in the world of professional wrestling. Be sure to check us out, patreon.com/the Wrestling Nerdcast. On behalf of my co-host, the lover of waffles, the voice of speech impediment, the Aphrodite of affection, Miss Hashtag What That Mouth Do, Chicago Win, the lover of taco, Mika Villas. On behalf of our amazing producer, the one, the only CW, I am your AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, your World Wrestling Grand Prix Champion, your National Syndicate Wrestling Unified Georgia Heavyweight Champion, the Disrespectful Intellectual, the Southern Gentleman, the National Treasure and Reality TV Star. I forgot about that. The Mid-Atlantic Bully, the Morning Star, the Incredible Hulk, Will Huckaby, saying peace out, support indie wrestling, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.